It's a cold winter day.
Yeah, the wind's turned to the southwest coming off the mountains.
Hello everyone. If you've been following us for the last 5 months, then you must be wondering how we've gone with the KiwiGrip. That is what this video is about. It's about what they don't tell you about laying KiwiGrip.
Yeah, we did a lot of research, found a lot online, videos, etc. about applying it, but we still weren't prepared for the conditions that we had to work in.
So here's a video and we will discuss at the end our tips. So stay tuned.
I'm Adriana. This is Jim and Lucy. 6 years ago, we moved onto our 42-foot yacht to get her ready for cruising. We left Sydney in late 2019 when fires and border closures took the wind out of our sails. Now we're ready to cruise the east coast of Australia. Subscribe and get on board.
Well, good morning everyone. It's non-slip day today. The weather changed a couple of days ago.
From Oberon to Orange to Gyra, some of our coldest temperatures in almost 40 years.
So we're around the bottom of the graph as far as temperature goes, which means we're going to be topping about 16 degrees, which is about this much Fahrenheit. We have to work on the sunny side of the boat first and then work our way to the other side. Wish us luck. Let's do it. Well, Jimmy, this is our second day. What are we up to?
We're going to push ahead with the next third of the non-slip. We did a third of the boat yesterday, and it was a bit of a learning curve, but we learned pretty quickly. Adri was a expert on the roller, so I just did all the dirty work of mixing the paint and spreading it. She came along in her finery at the very end with her roller and just got it looking fantastic really quickly. So that worked well. I mean, that was a good system. And we had it against us because it was blowing 16 to 20 knots. And, you know, it's literally blowing the paint off the roller. So how you managed to not get any on you, I don't know. But it did blow onto a lot of the other parts of the boat. We haven't had a lot of experience with this product, but in terms of the conditions yesterday, we couldn't have asked for the process to be better.
Yeah.
No sooner had I finished spreading it with a notch trowel that you were rolling it, and that was it. It was finished.
Yeah.
We didn't wait the 5 minutes to roll it again.
No.
It was just, that was it.
Yeah.
And we're really happy with what we did yesterday.
It came out really, really well.
Yeah.
And we like the pattern. And hopefully today I won't do my back in like I did yesterday. I pulled a muscle in my back. I'm okay today. And I also bashed my knee against this. This is where the steering wheel goes. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
But you pushed on.
But I pushed on.
Like a wounded soldier, you march forward into battle.
That's right. And we're going to do it again today.
Lord, can you give me a little bit of grace? Oh, can you hear me? It's been one of those days. So I'll be waiting down by the riverbanks. You know I'll be praying, so please don't delay. Oh, please don't delay. Lord, can you give me a little bit of faith? I wanna believe and I don't wanna break. A moment of relief would go a long way. You know I'll be praying, so please don't delay. Whoa, please don't delay. Better days are coming, so I'll keep kneeling in the mud. 'Cause show me better days are coming, so I'll keep kneeling in the mud. Show me better days are coming, so I'll keep kneeling in the mud. Show me better days are coming, so I'll keep kneeling in the mud.
Winterland, tell me all your secrets.
This day we decided to do the biggest area yet. We knew we'd have to keep a wet edge, and the wind being the way it was, we would have to work together seamlessly and very fast.
Roof, your painted red, it shakes the room. When I get there, I'll let my feet roll. When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control. When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get closer. Winterland, you're my sailing ship. Guide me in when you head for your trip. Right out of this wicked black and into bright sand. Straight toward the warm sun and into his hands. When I get there, I'll let my feet roll. When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control. When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get closer. Winterland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear. Way beyond this wicked black, I'll feel the soft sand. Right under the warm sun and in his hands. When I get there, I'll let my feet roll. When I get there, I'll break in your arms, I'll lose control. When I get there, I'll know the answer. Let me know when I get closer. When I get closer. Let me know when I get closer. Open up the sky for me. When you say I'll dig much deeper, I will shout. Let me know when I get closer. Open up the sky for me. When you say I'll dig much deeper, I will shout.
have just one panel to do when we're finished.
Not too long ago, I watched you put on your coat. You said let you cold, I'm sorry, but I got to go. Now it's 14 days and I hear you knocking on my door. I felt this way before, I'm not gonna take it no more. Well, I've been told hurting don't feel so bad. Just a little lesson I learned from my dear old dad. He was the expert at love.
After 6 months of playing hide and seek with the rain and the wind, here we are today. I can't believe it.
Young son, some loving ain't no damn good.
What do you do, Jimmy?
Once this KiwiGrip Nonslip dries, you need to give it a wash down to remove the detergent. It actually has detergent in it as a surfactant, and it rises to the surface. And until you get rid of it, it's a bit slippery because of the
Slippery
fact that
non-slip.
it's got detergent. But it's once you get it off, it's fine.
Pretended not to notice, yeah, she just played along. I think I heard a whisper, part of a favorite Rolling Stone song. It's about never breaking his heart of stone. I've been told hurting don't feel so bad. Just a little lesson I learned from my dear old dad.
This is how it all began 6 months ago when Jim had to change a tap. And look at it now.
You gotta learn when you're young. Some loving ain't no damn good.
Looking back, it's a no-brainer. The deck really needed it, and I'm glad we did it, even though it's been hard yakka. But then nothing worthwhile is really ever easy, is it? Next time we'll reveal just how much we saved by doing it ourselves. And it's a mozza.
She used to pour my sugar. Now she rubs salt in my wound.
If you enjoyed this video, show us some love by liking, sharing and commenting below. Because your encouragement is what inspires us to keep making these videos.
Sure had me pegged, she played me for some kind of...
So that's the video. Thanks for watching. And here are the tips that we can give you about laying KiwiGrip.
Yeah, look, the first thing would be read the instructions very carefully, particularly the application and drying chart, and then take into consideration the wind and also chances of overnight dew.
The second tip has to do with the sanding and the cleaning.
Yeah, look, we had already prepared the surface thoroughly by sanding back the old non-slip and putting a 2-pack epoxy primer on it. So we had a pretty clean, ready to go surface, but we still gave it a final sand with some 200 grit paper and a very thorough cleaning after that. Like Adri cleaned it it took 3 times to clean it.
Wet dusting it.
Before there was no residue on your wet rag that you're wiping it down with.
And the next tip
is just to do with the masking tape. To do this whole job, we've used probably close to 600 meters of masking tape. So the masking is a major part of doing a job like this. And most of that masking was done using a light green colored masking tape that worked fine for the polyurethane and the epoxy primers. It wasn't perfect with the KiwiGrip in that it was thin and it got a little bit saturated with the water within the paint. and
Left some adhesive
yeah,
behind.
so when we lifted it, it did leave a bit of adhesive, but it wasn't a hassle to clean off. We did try some blue tape because of that, but we found it much harder to cut all the corners and borders. The dark blue tape, it was darker and thicker, and it was much harder to see through. So in retrospect, we would have just stuck with the green tape and we would have been happy with it.
So the next tip has to do with the application of the KiwiGrip itself.
We did a team process basically where I had the dirty work. I was applying it with a notch trowel and Adri was finishing it. Now, initially we started with a 4mm notch trowel and it was putting on too much product. So we switched to a 4mm V-shaped trowel. We knew that we could spread it really fast, get just the right amount of product down for Adri to come along with the roller.
Yeah.
And there was no sort of mess and no excessive build-up anywhere because we had just the right amount of product down.
Yeah.
So that worked really well.
The next tip is the roller. Now, you buy a roller that they recommend you use with the KiwiGrip that will make the pattern. We found that using one roller was not good enough because the one roller gets clogged up, it gets full of paint, and it's fine for doing the first initial rolling, but then if you want a nice finish on top, you need a clean, what we call the clean roller that we kept just for that finishing off, and that worked really well. Next tip has to do with keeping a wet edge.
Yeah, they generally recommend, you know, breaking the job down into smaller areas, like sort of 1 square metre even.
Yeah.
But we did 2 sections that were 5 square metres each on the same day. I was a bit reticent about doing that to start with, but with the experience we had to date, Adri felt confident that she could roll it. So I took her advice and we just had to go hell for leather, applying it, rolling it, and we managed to do the whole section that way without having it dry out on us and sort of screwing up the look.
Yeah, and that brings us to not overworking the KiwiGrip.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to overwork it when you're trying to keep that wet edge going and you think, oh, I'll just roll it up here a bit more, but you've got to remember that what you've just rolled is drying and what you're still rolling is wet.
Yeah.
And the KiwiGrip works in such a way that as it's drying, if you go over it again, it actually creates a more aggressive pattern.
Yeah, it lifts it back up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of the recommended procedures for getting that very aggressive pattern is to roll it, leave it 5 minutes to dry, and then go back over it with the roller, and because it's partly dry, the roller kind of pulls it back up and makes it lifts up these little peaks and makes it a very aggressive pattern. Different conditions, you may have to sort of adopt a different style.
Yes.
And that's the point to make, is that once you start laying it, you've really got to go with the conditions. You know, if you need to change how you work to make it suit the temperature or the surface temperature or the wind or the humidity, you just got to do it. So there's no real simple solution or simple instruction to getting it down right. You've just got to start, and if you totally screw it up, wipe it off.
And that brings us to the other point, which is
Clean up.
Clean up. Now, you can be rolling it along and it's all great, but it's splattering everywhere.
Because we had 20 knots of wind, it was actually blowing it off the roller and onto all the adjacent surfaces, and including onto our freshly varnished gunnels, which we, in a lot of cases, we cleaned it off in time, but because with those big areas we're doing, we were so flat out, we didn't get it off in time, and we'll have to give that a light sanding and revarnish. So get it off straight away, because as a splatter, it dries really fast. Like with all things on boats in the outdoors, you know, depending on what sort of weather you're experiencing, you've just got to sort of make the best of what you got. So, thumbs up.
Thumbs up. We'll see you next time.
Well, I'm being told.
So what makes you want to do this now, Jimmy?
Well, the deck looks so good. The old name looks shitty.
And so now we've got a hole that doesn't look so good.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen then? To be continued.
Yeah.
You gotta have a sense of humour.